And it's time now to take a look at what's grabbing headlines around the world. And for that, I'm joined by Florence Villeminot.
Hi,
Florence, let's take a look at things here in France. We've got the second round of those local elections. They're set for Sunday.
That's right. Now, round one was a big flop for the socialists, according to a lot of French papers, and a big success for the opposition UMP. So what papers are wondering today is how far will the blue wave go? You can read that on the front page of La Croix, for instance. The blue wave is the success of the UMP because blue is their color. Now, not everybody is very happy about this, though. If we take a look at the left-leaning, well, the communists actually, L'Humanité, they wonder how to avoid a blue wave. And L'Humanité today blames the record abstention rate, actually, for the UMP's success and says it's more than ever, it's important to really mobilize voters on the left to get them out there, to vote, to stop the right.
Well, I'm guessing that a lot of papers, of course, they're saying that the left has lost a lot of confidence then.
That's right. Aujourd'hui en France points out that campaigning ends tonight at midnight, and so socialist candidates are really hitting the campaign trail, trying to throw all their energy at going door to door, making calls, but as you can read the title here, they just don't believe in themselves anymore. They have lost faith 48 hours before round two, according to Aujourd'hui en France.
Well, of course, after that first round, a lot of focus turning to the far right, who had really quite a turnout.
That's right, and Le Figaro points out that the far-right party, the National Front, is actually already looking ahead past the municipal elections, looking at the next chapter. According to Le Figaro, they really have their sights set on the next big election. So you have European elections in May, but especially you have presidential elections in 2017. And this article in Le Figaro points out that the National Front is really hoping to confirm the fact that it's become a third party, a real alternative in French politics.
All right, well, let's move things out to the international press. And we've got South Korean and Japanese papers reacting to a meeting between the country's two leaders.
That's right. The South Korean President Park Geun-hye and the Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe met on Tuesday on the sidelines of that nuclear security summit at The Hague. Now, this was the first formal meeting between the two leaders since they were elected, and it was a meeting that was orchestrated by the U.S. President Barack Obama. Now, the three leaders vowed to stand together against threats coming from North Korea, but this meeting was actually very symbolic because relations between Japan and South Korea have been deteriorating over territorial issues as well as historic issues. If we take a look at this article in Chosun Ilbo, so that's a South Korean paper, they blame Japan for attempting to deny responsibility for World War II atrocities. This article says that Seoul and Tokyo must really tackle their differences head-on, but it points out that the ball is now in Japan's court.
All right, well, then how is the Japanese press reacting to this meeting?
Well, I pulled out an article from Mainichi, which is actually quite representative of what a lot of the Japanese papers are saying today, and that's that this meeting between Abe and Park is a good first step in the right direction. It's a good step towards building strong bilateral ties. This article points out that both countries really need to face up to their history, and especially they need to turn their focus on the future because that is really what lies ahead for both of them. Now, it's important to note, though, that there have been tensions all over the region, including between Japan and China over history. I pulled out a cartoon from China Daily today that shows Shinzo Abe karate chopping through a history book. So this is just proof that other countries as well are facing tensions in the region over history, over territory, and these are issues that a lot of papers say that countries need to focus on today.
Well, let's stay in Asia, and you've pulled out an article about a new group stirring up some controversy.
That's right. This is in China. These are middle-aged, retired, city dwellers. And the reason they're drawing controversy is because they're dancing together in parks and squares. Now, why would a bunch of elderly people stir up controversy? Well, it's because residents in nearby buildings say that they make too much noise and therefore they can't relax. But dancers say that they need a dance because it keeps them healthy and active. To quote one of them, are we supposed to just sit around and wait for death? This is a very interesting article in the Wall Street Journal, though, that points out that this is kind of a clash of generations. You have these older generations that are used to living in a communist way together, and then you have these younger generations that are buying their own apartments that just want to be left alone. Now, efforts are underway to regulate public dancing. For instance, there are quiet zones. You can be fined if you dance outside of certain hours, etc. But this article points out that the dancing dilemma isn't likely to go away because China's elderly population is growing rapidly. By 2020, for instance, people above 60 years old will make 16% of China's population. That is some 240 million people, so a lot of potential dancers.
I wonder if Kevin Bacon will have anything to say. But Footloose was very on point about this. All right, Florence, let me know with a look at what's making headlines in the papers. Thank you for that. And you're watching live from Paris.